Hello. Now we'll start problem number 4. 3 problems we have completed. Now see the 4th problem. High-Tech Limited plan to sell 30,000 units next year. The production required 30,000 units. The expected cost of goods sold is as follows. Raw material 100 rupees per unit. Manufacturing expenses 30 rupees. Selling, administration and finance expense 20. Selling price 200. The duration at various stages of the operating cycle is expected to be as follows. Raw material stage 2 months. Work in progress stage 1 month. Finished goods stage half month. Debtor stage 1 month. Assume to monthly sales level of 2,500 units. So it is given that we have to assume monthly sales as 2,500. So per annum sales comes to 30,000. That means sales are even throughout the year. The sales are not fluctuating. In reality, the sales is maybe uneven. In some months, the sales may be more. In some months, the sales may be less. But here in this problem, we have to assume that the sales are uniform, 2,500 per month, and annually it comes to 30,000. So 2,500 into 12, you will get 30,000. Calculate the investment in various current assets. Only current assets. That means we have to find out the gross working capital, not net. Net तब आता जब current assets में से current liability minus करे तो. But we are not given any current liability. We are given only current assets. Then estimate the gross working capital requirement if the desired cash balance is 5% of the gross working capital requirement. ये तो next करेंगे. First of all, we have to find out how much are the investment in current assets, right? First of all, problem number 4, determination of working capital requirement, current assets. First, stock of raw material. Stock of raw material. See here, 30,000 units we are making. 30,000 units per annum. And each unit requires raw material of 100 rupees. See, each unit requires raw material of 100. If you multiply 30,000 into 100, you will get 30 lakh. You will get 30 lakhs. And 30 lakhs is the raw material required for 1 year, for 12 months. But here the duration is given raw material stage 2 month. It is given raw material stage 2 month. 2 महीने का रॉ मटेरियल गोडाउन में रख रहे हैं, 2 महीने का. और ये जो मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे 30,000 इंटू 100, 30 लाख. ये 30 लाख 1 साल का है, 1 ईयर का है, 12 मंथ्स का है. बट वी रिक्वायर ओनली फॉर 2 मंथ्स. तो मल्टीप्लाई 2 by 12. 2 by 12 we have to multiply. Then we'll get the raw material for 2 months. Next, work in progress. Stock of WIP. I am writing here working note. In working note, we'll calculate the stock of work in progress. Then third, stock of finished goods. Stock of finished goods. So stock of finished goods will calculate 30,000 units we are making every year into rupees. What is the total cost? Finished goods का मतलब उसके ऊपर raw material भी लग गया, labor भी, manufacturing expenses भी लग गए हैं, selling and administration, finance expense. All the expenditure are incurred. Then only it has become finished goods. तो फिर तीनों को ऐड कर लेंगे. 100 rupees material, 30 rupees manufacturing expense, 20 rupees selling and administration. तो 100 plus 30 plus 20 कितना हो गया? 150. 100 plus 30 plus 20, 150. यानी एक यूनिट बनाने के लिए 150 रुपीस का कॉस्ट है, टोटल कॉस्ट. तो हियर वी मल्टीप्लाई 150 रुपीस. तो 30,000 into 150 when you multiply, you will get the cost of production for 1 year. 1 साल का कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है, लेकिन हमको 1 साल का नहीं चाहिए. यहाँ फिनिश्ड गुड्स का स्टोरेज है, स्टेज है हाफ मंथ. तो मल्टीप्लाई बाई 0.5 by 12. हाफ मंथ का मतलब 0.5 by 12. नेक्स्ट है डेटार स्टेज. डेटार्स. Again we multiply 30,000 units into rupees 150. See here, now there is one new point. Debtors will be calculated on cost. Actually, amount due from debtor is the sale price, not cost. एक यूनिट बनाने के लिए 150 रुपीज लग रहे हैं, उसमें 50 रुपीज हमारा प्रॉफिट मिलाकर सेलिंग प्राइस प्रॉब्लम में दिया 200 रुपीज. इन द प्रॉब्लम इट इज गिवन 150 rupees is the cost, 50 rupees is the profit and selling price is 200. तो हमको 200 रुपये एक यूनिट पर आना है, लेकिन हम कैलकुलेट वर्किंग कैपिटल कैलकुलेट करते हो. प्रॉफिट शुड नॉट बी कंसीडर्ड. प्रॉफिट should not be considered because there may be, it may happen that profit may be withdrawn. जरूरी नहीं है कि प्रॉफिट जो बिजनेस में रहता वो वर्किंग कैपिटल में आता. अगर प्रॉफिट को विड्रॉ कर देंगे, निकाल देंगे, तो how it will affect, how it will help the working capital? It will not help the working capital. प्रॉफिट आ रहा और प्रॉफिट को हम निकाल के डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर कर दिए, तो फिर प्रॉफिट विल नॉट बी अवेलेबल फॉर वर्किंग कैपिटल. सो देयर इज अ कंट्रोवर्सी ऑन calculating debtors at sale price or cost price. So majority of authors says we should not take the sale price because in sale price there is a profit. Profit may or may not be an element of working capital. तो इसके लिए प्रॉफिट को छोड़ देंगे. क्या लेंगे? कॉस्ट. तो 150 रुपीज कॉस्ट है. 30,000 into 150, this is the total cost. But how much time period is given to debtors? 1 month. So into 1 by 12. Into 1 by 12. So raw material, work in progress, then finished goods, debtors. Over. This is the total of current assets. Investment in current assets. Now 30,000 into 30,000 into 100 into 2 divided by 12, it comes to 5 lakh. But the controversy is stock of work in progress. In working note, we have to calculate. In working note, we have to calculate stock of WIP, work in progress. देखिए, the stock of work in progress depends on the assumption. Actually, what do you mean by working capital, work in progress? The goods which are semi-finished, partly completed, partly not completed, partly completed and partly not completed. That is called work in progress. Semi-finished goods. काम चल रहा है. तो work in progress depend करता how much percentage of work has been done. कितना परसेंटेज काम हो गया, इसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता. ऐसा हो सकता कि 10% वर्क हैज बीन डन and 90% वर्क स्टिल टू बी डन. खाली 10% काम हुआ, 90% काम नहीं हुआ, तो वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस ही बोलेंगे. अगर 90% हो गया और 10% नहीं हुआ, तभी भी वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस बोलेंगे. तो वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ मच परसेंटेज ऑफ वर्क कंप्लीटेड. इट इज नॉट गिवन इन द प्रॉब्लम. So here we will make the assumption. What assumption? 50% work has been done. आधा काम हो गया और आधा काम नहीं हुआ. ये हमारा assumption है. On that assumption only we are calculating value of stock of WIP. In the coming problems also same assumption. Normal assumption. यानी आधा काम हुआ, आधा काम नहीं हुआ, इसीलिए वो work in progress है. तो जब हाफ काम हो गया, हाफ नहीं हुआ, तो एक्सपेंडिचर भी क्या करेंगे? 50% लेंगे. अब एक्सपेंडिचर लेते वक्त वी शुड टेक मटेरियल एज 100%, क्योंकि काम तभी शुरू होगा जब मटेरियल पूरा डाल दिए. तो अजम्पशन ये रहेगा मटेरियल इज यूज्ड 100%, बट अदर एक्सपेंसेस, अदर लेबर एक्सपेंसेस, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंसेस, ये 50%, ये आधा लगा है. राइट. तो इन आवर प्रॉब्लम वी आर हैविंग 3 elements of cost. The 3 elements of cost are raw material, manufacturing expense, selling, administration and finance expense. One point. This selling, administration and finance expenses are indirect. Indirect expenses. It will not be considered while calculating work in progress. Work in progress में सिर्फ factory overhead आना. Administration overhead, selling overhead will not be a part of WIP. Will not be a part of WIP. तो हम क्या करेंगे? रॉ मटेरियल लेंगे और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंसेस 50% लेंगे. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंसेस वी टेक 50%. तो स्टॉक ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल, स्टॉक ऑफ वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, तो रॉ मटेरियल, नाउ केयरफुली यू सी, रॉ मटेरियल 30,000 यूनिट्स वी आर मेकिंग इन 1 ईयर into rupees, per unit raw material is 100 rupees, एक यूनिट के ऊपर रॉ मटेरियल 100 रुपये है, ये 1 साल का रॉ मटेरियल हो गया, 1 ईयर का हो गया। लेकिन पीरियड कितना है, ड्यूरेशन कितना दिया है वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का, वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस स्टेज इज 1 मंथ, वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का स्टेज 1 मंथ है, तो इंटू 1/12, इंटू 1/12, ये मटेरियल 1 महीने का आ गया। Now we take into 100%. We assume that 100% material is applied, but manufacturing expenses are taken only 50%. अगर manufacturing expenses को भी 100% ले लिए तो फिर वो WIP नहीं रहता, वो तो finished goods हो गया. It will become a finished goods. So manufacturing expenses we take only 50%. $30,000 units into rupees. Per unit manufacturing expense are 30 into 1/12 into 50%. Carefully see the working note here. So 30,000 into 30, you will get 9 lakh. 30,000 into 30 is equal to you will get 9 lakh. 9 lakh 1 साल का लेबर हो गया, लेकिन हमको 1 महीने का चाहिए, तो 9 लाख इंटू 1 डिवाइडेड बाई 12, ये 1 मंथ का आ गया 75,000, लेकिन उसका क्या करेंगे 50% इंटू 50%, 37,500, और ये कितना है 30,000 इंटू 100 डिवाइडेड बाई 12 इंटू 100%, 2,50,000, 2,87,500. Value of stock of WIP. Again, I repeat this calculations. Stock of work in progress depends on the assumption. Assumption is what percentage of work has been completed. कितना काम हो गया, कितना नहीं हुआ, इसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता वैल्यू ऑफ स्टॉक ऑफ WIP. प्रॉब्लम में नहीं दिया तो ये अज्यूम करना कि आधा काम हुआ, 50% completed, 50% not completed. On that basis we are going to calculate the value of WIP, stock of WIP. तो कैसा करेंगे, रॉ मटेरियल और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंस ये दो ही लेंगे, और एक एक्सपेंस प्रॉब्लम में दिया सेलिंग एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एक्सपेंसेस, that will not be considered in calculating WIP. Only direct expenses will be taken, indirect expense will not be taken. जो खर्चा फैक्ट्री में होगा वो लेंगे, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में मार्केटिंग में होगा नहीं लेंगे, ये पॉइंट याद रखिए। अब एक्सपेंडिचर लेने के टाइम पे मटेरियल का assumption ये रहेगा कि पूरा मटेरियल डालने के बाद ही काम होगा, तो 100% मटेरियल विल टेक, बट अदर एक्सपेंसेस अपार्ट फ्रॉम मटेरियल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंस वी विल नॉट टेक 100%. अगर ये भी 100% ले लिए तो वो WIP नहीं रहता, वो फिनिश्ड गुड्स बन जाता, इसीलिए मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंसेस को 50% लेंगे। एक साल में 30,000 यूनिट्स बना रहे, एक यूनिट के ऊपर 100 रुपीज मटेरियल, तो 30,000 इंटू 100 30 लाख, 30 लाख रुपए का मटेरियल 1 साल का है, लेकिन हमको 1 साल का नहीं दिया, प्रॉब्लम में दिया वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का जो स्टेज है वो 1 महीना है, तो इंटू 1/12 इंटू 100%, 2,50,000. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपेंस 30,000 इंटू 30, 9 लाख. 9 lakh is the manufacturing expense for 1 year, but we want for 1 month, तो 9 lakh into 1/12, 75,000. तो 75,000 का आधा लेंगे, 50% लेंगे, it comes to 37,500. तो total will be 2,87,500. Here I am taking 2,87,500. Now stock of finished goods. Stock of finished goods directly we can calculate 30,000 into 150 into 0.5 divided by 12. You are getting 1,87,500. Debtors 30,000 into 150 divided by 12, 3,75,000. Now we add up 3,75,000 plus 1,87,500 plus 2,87,500 plus 5 lakh, 13,50,000. 13,50,000 is the investment in current assets. To this we add balance. It is our second question. It is first question, calculate the investment in various current asset. This is the investment in current asset. First answer completed. Second, estimate the gross working capital requirement if the desired cash balance is 5% of gross working capital requirement. Desired cash balance. %5 of gross working capital. See, if in the problem it is given 5% on investment on current assets, 5% on investment in current assets, तो अगर ये 5% investment in current asset दे देता तो ये 5% 13,50,000 पे कैलकुलेट करते थे. But in the problem it is not asking you to calculate 5% on investment in current asset. It is asking you to calculate 5% of gross working capital requirement. तो ये ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट तो नहीं है, यहाँ पर ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट यहाँ नहीं है, ब्लैंक है. यहाँ पर जो भी अमाउंट आएगा उसका 5%. तो जब तक के कैश बैलेंस नहीं मालूम करें तब तक वी विल नॉट गेट ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल, और जब तक के ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल नहीं है तब तक कैश बैलेंस नहीं मालूम होता. तो ये दोनों एक दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंड है. Desired cash balance depends on gross working capital and gross working capital depends on cash balance. अगर 5% ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट असेट दे देता यहां पर तो ये 5% इसके ऊपर कैलकुलेट करते थे, लेकिन नहीं दिया उन्हें ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल. तो हियर इन वर्किंग नोट नंबर 2 अज्यूम करेंगे, लेट ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल बी ₹100. एक सपोज कर रहा हूं, सपोज if the gross working capital requirement is 100, then cash will be ₹5, because cash balance is 5% of gross working capital. If the gross working capital is 100, तो 100 rupees का 5%, 100 rupees का 5% ₹5. तो 100 रुपये ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल अगर सपोज करे तो 5 रुपये उसमें कैश बैलेंस. तो बाकी का इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट असेट विल बी ₹95. ये ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल में से कैश को निकाल दो तो क्या चीज आ जाएगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट असेट्स. तो वी मेड वन इक्वेशन. व्हाट इज दैट इक्वेशन? If the gross working capital requirement is 100, then cash balance will be ₹5 and investment in current asset will be 95. But what is our actual investment in current asset? 13,50,000. When investment in current asset is 13,50,000 dash, how much is the cash? अब मैं मालूम करना चाह रहा हूं, जब 95 रुपीस है, जब 95 रुपीस इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट एसेट है तो ₹5 कैश है. जब 13,50,000 इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट एसेट अगर है तो फिर कैश कितना होगा, हाउ मच वुड बी द कैश? तो आंसर विल बी 13,50,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 95 into 5. 13,50,000 divided by 95 into 5. So it comes to 71,053. Therefore, cash is equal to 71,053. आ गया आंसर. We got the answer. तो अगर 13,50,000 इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट असेट्स अगर है तो आवर कैश बैलेंस विल बी 71,053. राइट? नाउ करंट असेट, इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करंट असेट एंड कैश बैलेंस, ये दोनों को ऐड करो. 13,50,000 plus 71,053, it comes to 14,21,053. This is what gross working capital requirement, यही मालूम करना है. Now we'll confirm, verify whether our calculations are correct or not. अब ये जो कैश 71,053 आया करेक्ट है या इनकरेक्ट है, वेरीफाई कर सकते हैं. वी कैन डू आवर वेरिफिकेशन. इट इज सेइंग डिजायर्ड कैश बैलेंस इज 5% ऑफ ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल. डिजायर्ड कैश बैलेंस जो है 5% ऑफ ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल रहना. अब हमारे पास ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल है. वी आर हैविंग ग्रॉस वर्किंग कैपिटल 14,21,053. अब इसके ऊपर 5% कैलकुलेट करके देखो, यू मस्ट गेट 71,053. 5% of this amount you must get this. Then your answer is right. Calculate and see. 14,21,053 into 5%. 71,053. Got it. That means our calculations are correct. तो यहां पर केयरफुल रहना, आप लोग कॉन्सेंट्रेट करिए, लॉजिक देखिए क्या कह रहा है और मेरे एक्सप्लेनेशन को केयरफुली लिसन करिए. डेफिनेटली यू कैन गेट द पॉइंट. राइट? Okay, come on, we'll start the next one. Fifth problem. Come on, see the fifth one. The management of S Limited has called for a statement showing the working capital. Carefully, you see. The management of S Limited has called for a statement showing the working capital needed to finance a level of activity of 3 lakh units of output for the year. The cost structure of the company per unit is as follows. So 1 year we want to manufacture 3 lakh units. So we have to find out how much working capital is required for making this 3 lakh units. Raw material per unit 20 rupees, direct labor 5 rupees, overheads 15 rupees. Total cost 40, profit 10, selling price 50. Remember, for calculating working capital requirement, we are not concerned with profit and selling price. We need only cost. Past trend indicate that raw material are held in stock on an average for 2 months. Stock of raw material जब लेंगे तो stock of raw material कितना लेंगे? 2 months, 2/12. WIP will approximate to half month production. Again, in working note we have to calculate what is the value of WIP. तो work in progress का जो stage है वो half month, 0.5, 0.5/12. Finished goods remain in warehouse on an average for a month, 1 month. Finished goods stage 1/12. Supplier of material extend a month's credit. Supplier of material are the creditors. Supplier of material are the creditors. So creditors are allowing a month's credit, 1 month's credit. तो current liability में है. And 2 months credit is normally allowed to debtors. We are allowing 2 months credit period to the debtors. A minimum cash balance of 25,000 is expected to be maintained. The production pattern is assumed to be even during the year. Prepare a statement of working capital determination. Now, fifth problem. Determination of working capital requirement, current asset. First one we take stock of raw material. तो एक साल में कितने यूनिट्स बना रहे हैं? 3 लाख यूनिट्स इनटू एक यूनिट पर रॉ मटेरियल 20 रुपीज. तो 3 लाख इंटू 20 यू विल गेट द रॉ मटेरियल फॉर 1 ईयर. बट वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट फॉर हाउ मेनी मंथ्स. रॉ मटेरियल आर हेल्ड इन स्टॉक ऑन एन एवरेज फॉर 2 months into 2/12. Similarly, second, stock of WIP and work in progress we always calculate in working note. In working note we have to calculate work in progress. Then third, stock of finished goods. So 3 lakh units into rupees. Total cost, what is the total cost? 40. Into how much is the duration of finished goods? Finished goods remain in warehouse on an average for a month, 1/12. Fourth, then we have taken this one, then debtors. 3 lakh into rupees 40 into how much credit period we are allowing to debtors. So it is given 2 months credit is normally allowed to debtors, 2/12. Fifth, cash balance. Cash balance to be maintained is 25,000. These are the current assets. Current liabilities, creditors, creditors for material purchases. ये जो creditors रहते हैं ये suppliers के पास से material खरीदने वाले. तो material का price क्या है? What is the price of material? 20 rupees. And how much credit period we are getting from the creditors? The supplier of material extend a month credit, 1 month credit. B. Now, net working capital. A minus B. That's all. Now, in working note, we have to calculate the value of stock of WIP, the raw material. So, before starting this, you must write one sentence. You must write one sentence. It is assumed that half of the work has been done. It is assumed that half of the work has been done on WIP. I am writing down here. It is assumed that half of the work has been done on WIP. So we take 100% of material, but only 50% of labor and overheads. Overheads are assumed to be factory overhead. In examination, you must write this sentence. Because how you have calculated the value of WIP depends on the assumption. So our assumption is, it is assumed that half of the work has been done. So only 50% will take regarding labor and overheads. But 100% we take regarding material. Material पूरा डाल दिया बोल के समझना. मतलब कि लेबर और ओवरहेड्स आधे लगे. और ओवरहेड्स भी दो तरह के ओवरहेड्स होते हैं. एक डायरेक्ट ओवरहेड्स, एक इनडायरेक्ट ओवरहेड. फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड इज अ डायरेक्ट ओवरहेड. Whereas administration and selling overhead are indirect overhead. तो अगर प्रॉब्लम में सेलिंग और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन अगर दिया तो नहीं लेना. अब यहाँ पर खाली ओवरहेड्स दिया. It is given only overheads. It is not given which type of overhead. So we have assumed that these overheads are factory overhead. That's why we have taken. Now, in this problem, I have written all these sentences. So you must copy this sentence. In the coming problem, I am not writing all these things, but we are following this thing. We are going to follow this rule. Raw material. Raw material is 3 lakh units into rupees. Material cost per unit is 20 rupees into. What is the stage of WIP? Duration of WIP. It is given WIP approximate half month production. Half month. So 0.5 by 12 into 100%. Similarly, direct labor, 3 lakh units into, what is the labor cost per unit? It is given in the problem 5 rupees into 0.5 by 12 into 50%. Similarly, overheads, 3 lakh units into 15 into 0.5 by 12 into 50%.